ain't like that, boy.
It's not.
And if you want the glory, you gotta sweat.
Yeah. 2 a.m. My oh my. I think Logic just crashed. That ain't recover the session.
Think about it.
Magically bird. Indian words.
Aim high. So think about it.
Okay, that was high. I was really, wow. Shoot, I gotta fix my roof now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Q&A. I wanted to do another Q&A with you guys because I haven't just had a conversation pretty much with every single one of you. So on my story, follow me on Instagram if you don't, I posted a question sticker. So yeah, let's jump right in. The first question's from my homie Ben, and he's saying, how have you been taking this quarantine? It's not been any different from what my life has usually been. I think it's almost like, it's like my life just subtracting the gym from it. I stay at home way too much nevertheless. I was homeschooled toward the end of high school, so like my last year pretty much. So staying home has been a thing for me for a couple of years. The only thing that's really changed significantly is like the amount of hours I've been working at Target because it's nuts. Because quarantine Karens need their puzzles, so I'm out there helping. But yeah, so man, it hasn't been too bad, honestly. I think a lot of it is just like staying peaceful and staying like calm, even though it looks like the world's falling apart around us. And yeah, just kind of like trusting God with the process is a lot of it. So not too bad, man. How's yours been? You gotta let me know. Next question's from Marcella. She's asking, what do you plan on doing once quarantine is over? I love you and the fam. We love you and your fam too. And going back to the gym, I think appreciating things more too, like just simply going to a restaurant is a luxury, like being served by people and then being able to tip them and help them out and talk to them and like all that kinds of stuff. It's just weird. And so yeah, also for me personally, I want to go see a movie just so I can like give money to AMC or give money to like any kind of film company that's like really badly in debt right now, even though y'all charge like $15 for a popcorn. I don't know how you're financially struggling. I'm just kidding. But all jokes aside, yeah, just seeing a movie, going back to the gym, but with a new perspective instead, you know, because before I just took all that stuff for granted, but now it's definitely like it's a true privilege. And so to realize that is going to be really nice. Josh is asking, what makes you get up every day and keep going? 3 reasons that you've never said before. I like that variant of that question. Like you have you're like, dude, I need 3 and I need ones that you've never heard. Okay. Number 1, I would say is like the fixed perspective that like life is a blessing and existing is kind of weird. So just getting up in the morning, being thankful, being grateful. That's definitely number 1, is just that perspective of like, wow, this is amazing. Like whatever this is that I'm involved with, this thing called life, word, you know, like it's helpful to do that. Number 2, I would say is loving people, which is so freaking hard sometimes because not everybody you meet is exactly the best individual. So it's like, it sucks sometimes to like, you know, do that to everybody and blanket statement it. But just kind of like giving people a voice, giving people, you know, an ear to hear what they're trying to say. It's kind of like fulfilling in a way, I guess, because it's just nice because you give them that peace of mind for a second. And then number 3 would just be like encapsulating all those things is just getting better day by day, like seeing progress, seeing creative growth and stuff like that. It's really nice to like experience that and also just grow as an individual. And yeah, so that's my trifecta right there. My homie Braden's asking plans for 2020. I plan on going back to the gym whenever I freaking can, dude. Yeah, but going back to the gym for real, like I really want to get back into fitness and like training my body and stuff like that. And home workouts just aren't the same vibe. Like you can ask my sister, like me and her, when we squat up and go to the gym, dude, like it's a different energy than at home. So going back there, and then also too, just like kind of growing in perspective of kind of what I answered to Marcella's question, growing in perspective of what is truly a privilege in life, especially living in America. So kind of just gaining knowledge about that, and also obviously just growing in like the knowledge of God and learning more about life in general. I don't know, man. I also really want to grow as a content creator and as a freelancer and a person that makes content, not just from like you guys, but also other people that have businesses and stuff, because that's always just like fun and I love it. It's great. It's like one of my passions, honestly. Rachel's asking, and also Rachel, you asked a ton of questions, so I really appreciate that because yeah, you spammed it and I love it. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. She's asking kind of a 2-parter. So what's the most challenging and the most fun part about being a YouTuber? Gosh, that's tough. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be 100% honest right now. I'm gonna get the funnest part out of the way. The funnest part of being a YouTuber is being able to self-express, but that's also the most difficult part. So getting over the boundaries of worrying about what people think of you and yet balancing a channel that will reach viewers and reach more people is such a hard concept to even think about, right? I think that with being a YouTuber, it's a lot of work, yet it's overlooked on how much you have to do. If you go by people's opinions, people are always going to tell you that you're not doing enough, when in reality, one video could take you like 4 hours to record and 4 hours to edit. So you have a whole 8-hour shift basically, and nobody even gets to see that. It's just they see the production of what you're making. And so trying to reach that and also trying to just balance like creativity, but also not harm it by making it become a chore is so freaking tough, dude. Like it's awful sometimes. And I think too, just like keeping hope in it, because you sometimes kind of like, for me at least, I get lost in why I'm doing it, because I know that there's this unspoken goal obviously for everybody to gain more following, gain more likes, etc., but you don't want to use that as your fuel. It's almost like driving to a place that you don't want to keep your eyes on. And it's so weird, because if you keep your eyes on it, you'll lose focus of all the beauty around you in the moment. And so that beauty around you in the moment too is helping your creativity in return. So it's difficult to really like balance motives and content and production. And also just self-image. It's a lot. It's really a lot. But it's also worth it because you're conveying a message to people and you're making content that people enjoy, and you're kind of just fulfilling your gifts that you've been given, like spiritually, as in like talents and stuff. So yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, honestly. Another question from Rachel is, do you prefer to work in a team or alone? If I can pick my team, I would prefer to work in a team. And it's hard to say that, because I know like in school, working in teams was totally different, because people would just sit back and let you do all the work if you were the hard worker, and if you were lazy, you would join the people sitting back. So that's totally a different spectrum of conversation. I would say that like if it's a team that I can work with, progress with, and we all share the same vision, that is the team I can work with. What's the weirdest way you became friends with someone? Wow, that's a question. There was a girl one time, I was at this concert called Winter Jam that they have around the US. I don't think they go internationally, so I think it's just the US. But I was there, and so this is at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. And like we're like up here on this like bridge that's going from the parking garage to Bankers Life's entrance, right? And then down here on the ground and the outside, there was this big crowd of people as well, and they were waiting to get inside just like we were. And then the thing was too, is we were there way before the entrance time, so we were just waiting for them to open up the doors. And so we were looking down and we were like waving at people and saying hi. And then we actually ended up getting this girl to like sign her number and stuff. And she did it, and I ended up texting her number and got it. And so we started to become friends a little bit. And it was funny because like we added each other on Facebook, and then the friendship just died, so we're not really homies anymore. But it was cool. It was a really cool way to do it. That was probably like the craziest thing. I don't think I've ever had any like awkward run-ins with anybody, so that's good. Do you have any weird obsessions? I have an obsession with sadness. It's like my best friend that I never tell anybody about, because he's not the best for me. And I'm saying this genuinely because like there's like this section on YouTube, and if you know, you know. And it's just like really thick, good, wavy, watery music that you can find. And then it suggests more in the recommended. And that nostalgic feeling of like missing the love of your life, even if you don't know who that is obsessive, and it's so addicting. I would say that's my weird obsession. Charisma's asking, how do you study the Bible? It depends on what you mean by study, but I would say that like I try to look a lot into like the core of the meanings of things. I also look at, I think it's called BibleHub.com, where they break down like, they have like a lot of breakdowns on the meanings of stuff and the root words of like, you know, the original Greek, the original Hebrew and stuff like that. So I try to like look really in depth into it. I also try to look for Jesus in every scripture, because if the Old Testament was basically prophesying about Jesus, then you have to look for the prophecy inside of it. I was telling my mom the other day how I noticed that the story of Joseph kind of has like a symbolic version of God and Jesus, because when Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then later Joseph was the king, brothers came up to him and they didn't recognize him, but Joseph recognized them. This is the cool part, right? So it said that Joseph was, they were murmuring like amongst themselves and nervous and everything like that. And it said that Joseph had an interpreter. And I saw in my mind this symbol of like God hears us murmuring all the time, and then he has an interpreter too, which is Jesus, because Jesus lived in the flesh. So it's almost like Jesus is witnessing and kind of interceding, which is what the New Testament says, with God about our human state and how much it sucks to be a human sometimes. And so I found that just like really beautiful. So just looking for meaning and looking for kind of insight is very, very helpful. I would say too, like just asking God before you read it, like please open up my mind to whatever you want to reveal to me. Like that's a very helpful practice too, because then you kind of break the fourth wall of an audience that's always been there, you know? So yeah, that's how I study it. Last question's from Kaylee, and she's saying, visit/photo shoot after quarantine, question mark? Miss you. I miss you too, dude, honestly. Thanks, China. No, I'm kidding. And yeah, absolutely. We got to do both. I want to go to that bridge that you talked about, and I want to do a lot more photo shoots. So if you guys are local and you guys are like seniors, or you just want pictures for your Instagram, please direct message me or text me, because like, bro, let's go do a shoot. Let's have fun with this after quarantine, because we got to go back to exploring. So while I was editing this Q&A, I forgot that I posted Veins and Vessels. If you haven't seen that video, link in the corner. But when I posted it, I asked at the end of the video for more questions, and I got one question from Tim, and I want to answer this one. So Tim was asking, what is my dream job besides YouTube? I think my dream job, to be honest with you, is probably anything involving creativity and innovation in society. I mean this in a way of like, I want to help the world progress, because creatives really hold the world together. The world itself is created. So that, I feel, is a very, very important aspect to everything. And so because that holds everything together in a sense, I think creatives do the same thing to humanity. One of the ones that I first thought of when I read that question was working for Disney, because I think that would be awesome. Either Disney or Marvel, or one of those franchises that has like very deep meaning to their stuff. Because if you look far enough into it, it's really amazing how much they put into it. So yeah, bro, that's my answer to your question. And yeah, guys, that is the Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys all for your questions as well. I appreciate it, especially Rachel. You're the bomb for dropping like 15 questions. I appreciate that. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please share this video with a friend. Drop a like, comment if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.